Okay, important lesson here. I want to give you a quick overview on all the social media channels all at once in one 15-20 minute video. I try to do these videos about the length of a TED Talk because they say the average attention span or the ideal attention span for people is about 18 minutes. So let's talk about all the social media and internet marketing channels, not just social media, but also internet marketing. Because remember, it's called social media marketing and internet agency. Sometimes I just keep the word internet marketing out because you're going to not only do social media marketing, but everything related to the World Wide Web, the internet, where most businesses are the weakest. Most small businesses, they know how to do conventional marketing, they know how to do signs and coupons, and they know how to do billboards, and they know how to do phone marketing and flyer marketing. But when it comes to social media and internet, they're novices. That's where you come in. So I want to give you a quick overview of all the social media channels, the main ones, how to think about them, okay? So remember this, principle number one, you won't always use every channel for every business. For example, if you are working with a dentist, you're probably not going to use Pinterest. At least I don't know how to use Pinterest to teach you how to use Pinterest to their advantage. But if it's a store, like selling clothing store, Pinterest could be very valuable. Same with Twitter, same with YouTube, same with Facebook, same with Google PPC ads and Facebook ads. So let me just give you a quick rundown so that you have a top level overview so that when you're talking to small businesses, you can quickly rattle off, and be knowledgeable, because just this quick video is going to make you more knowledgeable than 99% of people out there. And remember, I've spent tens of millions of dollars learning this stuff, okay? And you're getting it for the price of this program, which isn't even, 1/100th of 1% of that. So you're going to be very knowledgeable. You can be very confident. This stuff's not book theory. This is my dollars spent on this, my company's dollars. So the first one, let's just start, not necessarily in any order. We'll start with YouTube. How should you think of YouTube for your clients? Well, YouTube, write this down if you're taking notes, is long form marketing. What does long form mean? Just that. It's real, Twitter's very short messages. YouTube, you can upload a 24-hour long video to YouTube. You can upload a 1-hour video. You can upload a 4-hour one. You can upload a 30-minute one. Now, you don't necessarily need to make them all as long as possible, but for your clients, whenever you have a message, a marketing message that your client needs to get out, that you're going to help them get out, their brand story, it's usually going to take a little while, maybe 5 minutes, to convey that message. You can't do that on Instagram. You can kind of do it on Snapchat, but it's not that easy. You can't do it on Twitter very easily. Can't do it on Facebook. So Facebook, we'll talk about that in a second as a special case. Facebook, sometimes you can. But YouTube is still the truest place to do long form. And I'll tell you why. Even though you can do video on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages, people are not expecting to watch long Facebook videos. Instagram and Twitter have limits. Instagram's a minute now, and Twitter sometimes lets you go a little longer. But Facebook, you can upload a long video, but people aren't expecting it. When they open up a Facebook app, people aren't expecting to watch a 1-hour video. With YouTube, they are. But keep in mind, when you're talking to customers, if you think it's a customer that long form is appropriate, get an example. Maybe if you have a cosmetic surgeon, you would use YouTube on their homepage, a YouTube embedded video, and on their YouTube channel that you could help them open. You would show them, you would tell them a story of like a testimonial of a client, somebody who had, always had an issue with a mole on their face, and you could talk 1 or 2 minutes on how that person was bullied growing up and this, and how they met this surgeon, and how the surgeon performed this operation, how it's changed our life. That's like a 5-minute story, long form. Okay? So, first set of notes. Long form, that's YouTube, which is a very powerful medium that you can do for your clients and bring them a lot of value. Second social media channel that I want to talk about is Instagram. Let's talk about Instagram. So what is Instagram best at? Well, Instagram's changed a little bit with Instagram stories. Now, it is my belief that Instagram stories has not replaced Snapchat stories. So you have regular Instagram, if you're not familiar, where you just post pictures and videos, right, on your timeline. But now they have a feature where you can post for 24 hours, just a whole bunch of quick videos or quick photos, and they last for 24 hours. So let's talk about both of those. The main place that you would post for your customers would be on their timeline, right? Their story, their timeline. And what do you want to do there? Usually you want to use that for your clients as a showcase of highlights. That's the way to think of Instagram. You want to highlight things. So let's say your client is a restaurant or a yard service, like a maintenance service that does people's yards and mows grass and does landscaping, a landscaping company. You would want to do some really pretty, relatively high quality pictures. They don't have to be fake and posed. They can be selfie, but the light is good. You know, they're a little more professional looking. Not crazy professional. Those actually don't do as well on Instagram, but relatively well selected, okay? And that's what you want to post. And with Instagram, we'll talk about later posting frequency on YouTube and Instagram, but Instagram, you don't have to post for most of your clients. It could be as few as 1 a week, okay? Some clients might need 5 a day. That's very rare. That would be more if you're working with an internet customer who's selling something, you can do that. But if you have a restaurant, you know, 1 or 2 nice pictures and videos. You can also do some videos, and you want to kind of mix it up for your clients. Again, we'll have separate videos for each of these. I'm just giving you a highlight. So think of Instagram as a showcase. Now, the Instagram story, think of it as a good place. Think of it as Snapchat for older people. Young people still use Snapchat a lot. And young people do use Instagram stories, but where Instagram really stands out and shines is for older people. A lot of older people have a Facebook and an Instagram. So if the business you're helping do marketing for is reaching out to older people, Instagram and Instagram stories will be better than Snapchat. If your customer is marketing to 18-year-olds, Snapchat, I still believe it. And I think it'll stay this way for a while. I can talk about that separately video on Snapchat, why I think Snapchat has some real unique features that Instagram doesn't have. Primarily the messaging, the ability to send messages back and forth. Okay, so that's Instagram as the showcase and a place to reach a slightly older audience. Let's talk about Facebook fan pages. So your business, that the businesses that you are doing the internet and social media marketing for, if they don't have a Facebook fan page or business page, you will create one for them and manage it. And you know, Facebook is very much what I call a hybrid. So when I think about Facebook, I think of a hybrid, meaning it's a little bit like Instagram, it's a little bit like YouTube, it's a little bit like Twitter, okay? So Facebook is very powerful. So I call it a hybrid that can be very profitable. In fact, Facebook in some ways is the easiest for you to bring direct action to your customers. So if you have a restaurant, a cosmetic surgeon, a landscaping business, if you have a real estate agency you're working for, construction service, Facebook is often the best place to start because you can advertise on it, you can put links in it that are clickable, you can generate email leads for your customers. So Facebook is a hybrid. In many ways, it has the best of all worlds. You can upload long videos like YouTube, even though YouTube's slightly better the longer the videos get. That's how you need to think of Facebook. It's this hybrid tool that's good at a lot of things, not necessarily great at everything, like YouTube's more great at long-form video. Snapchat is better at continuous feeds. Twitter is a little better at status updates than Facebook is at its own status updates. People kind of do status updates now on Facebook, not as much as when it first started. Twitter's a little better, but Facebook is that nice hybrid that's good at a lot of things for your customers. Okay. Next, let's talk about Twitter. Twitter is the loud place. So hopefully you're writing down these keywords that I'm telling you. Facebook hybrid, YouTube long form, Instagram showcase, Instagram stories, older market. Now we talk about Twitter. Twitter is loud. That means you can post a lot on Twitter. Doesn't mean you have to post for your customers, but if you look at these campaigns, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, if you look at some of the top people who have huge Twitter accounts, they're posting. I've seen Tim Ferriss post 5 times in 1 hour. Again, you wouldn't necessarily do that continually for your clients, but maybe when your client is having a big sale, having a big push for a specific action they want their customers to take, you may want to use Twitter more often, post a lot. But Twitter's the loudest. You don't have to worry much about over posting on Twitter. And I have a separate video on Twitter on how you can use Twitter to do a lot of testing. It's another thing. But Twitter's loud. Whenever it's loud, whenever you can post a lot, it's a great place to do a lot of tests. I test things for Instagram before I post to Instagram or Facebook. I'll oftentimes test them on Twitter because I can put 10 posts up real fast, see which one gets the most favorites and retweets without bothering my audience. If you post 10 times in 1 hour on Instagram, you're going to probably start bothering if you post 10 times on a YouTube, 10 videos of YouTube in one day, you're going to see diminishing returns. You don't always see diminishing returns with Twitter by posting more. For myself, I post about 8 times a day on an ideal day. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Okay, next social media. Let's talk about a non-social media platform. Email, because you're going to help with email and internet marketing too. Email, think of email this way. It is the lifeblood of marketing, okay? So when you think of it, social media is very important. Website, very important. Sales funnels, all the contests, all the things you're going to learn to do. But email is the lifeblood of a business. What I mean by that? Well, in order for my body to operate, it needs blood coursing through its veins on a continual basis. Same for your small business clients. If they don't have an email list, they're like a body without blood. They're not moving. They're not active. Email gives you so many tools. It's still one of the best ways to make money. It's still one of the best ways to have customer loyalty. Now, this may phase out over the next 5 or 10 years, but I'm telling you what works right now. Okay, by 2025 or something, email will probably be replaced. And in some ways, for young people, email's getting replaced, and people use things like Snapchat messaging and stuff like that, and other WhatsApp and Kik and all these things, depending on the country. But email still, for business, is lifeblood. Okay, so the reason I like that analogy of lifeblood is when you come into a business and you realize they don't have an email list of existing customers, of potential future customers, of people who have visited their store, visited their website, you immediately know you're going to bring a lot of value to them. So email is the lifeblood. All right, let's talk about Google Ads. You're going to learn in this course how to manage Google Ads. Now, what are Google Ads? Well, when you search for any phrase in Google, you'll see little banner ads on the top or on the side. Sometimes when you go to blogs, you'll see banner ads. A lot of those are running through the Google network. So this is the way I think about Google. Google Ads is it's an engine. It's the engine of a business. So you have the lifeblood, email, but Google Ads, because so many people use Google to search for everything, it is an engine that will drive sales to your customers. And remember, the more increase in sales your customers see, the more likely they're going to keep paying you $1,000 a month, or they're going to upgrade to the $2,000, $5,000, or $10,000 package. Okay? So you want to learn Google Ads. When I got started, what started me on my career as an entrepreneur, I was an entrepreneur before the internet, but as an internet entrepreneur, was learning through various programs how to do Google Ads. And it was like lightning to my income. I went from 0 income to 6 figures basically in 9 to 12 months, okay, as a business owner. Because now, I was young and curious and wanted to learn the internet. Most of your customers don't want to learn how to do Google Ads. So you can perform this service to them or people in your staff as you build a team. So it's an engine. You want that engine working, boy. Google Ads is still powerful. Now let's talk about the other big ad platform. And Google Ads is divided up into, regular conventional Google AdWords, and it has Google AdSense and Google Display Network. Don't worry about that now. Even YouTube is technically now under Google, but I want to just keep it simple. Google Core Ads. This is the engine that you will use to drive sales to your customers. Now, the last one I want to talk about is, well, I'll talk about a few more actually, but one of the next most important ad platform, okay? Notice that YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram that I talked about, those are free marketing that you'll do for your customers, right? It doesn't cost anything. Google Ads, your customers will be paying 10 cents a click, 20 cents a click. So that's called paid advertising. You divide everything I'm teaching you. Free advertising, that's social media that you do for customers, and then paid. Email goes in the free because it's free for the most part to collect emails. Now, in the paid side, we just talked about Google AdWords. Now we're going to talk about Facebook ads. Facebook ads, I was one of the first people in the world to use Google Ads. I started using Google Ads about a month into it being around. I believe it was March 2001 or something like that, and I think Google Ads came out in February 2001 in its current form. Facebook, I started using in, I think, 07 or 08. I was in the beta program. Facebook is the second engine of business, okay? Why do I say that? Well, you can generate a lot of activity for your customers. You can run ads and you can target. So you can target local customers. So Google can do that too, but Facebook has a tad bit more information because it uses the information people entered on their Facebook as the targeting tool. Google AdWords doesn't have that as much, so you can target somewhat by locations and device types and so on. So the first, Google is the core engine. Facebook is the hyper-targeted engine. Google's the core engine, meaning it's going to create sales for your customers. It's going to create leads. It's going to get people to go to their website. It's going to get new customers to visit their restaurant or their dentist office and all that. Facebook is going to do the same thing, but on a hyper-targeted. Like if your customer says, my best clients are 44 to 47-year-old single women who live within 20 miles of San Diego. That's going to be what you use hyper-targeted core engine, which is Facebook ads. Okay? So, these are this list that I just gave you. I'm going to add one more, which is Snapchat. Now, what I call Snapchat is the niche marketing tool. Now, why do I say niche? Because Snapchat marketing is not going to work for all businesses. In fact, some businesses that you're going to have as customers, they don't need a Snapchat at all. If I was a dentist and you came and I was paying you to do my social media marketing, I don't think you'd need to do Snapchat for me. Why? Well, Snapchat is better for a much younger audience. So if you have a business that has a bunch of teenagers or early people in the early 20s who are already addicted to Snapchat, then Snapchat's appropriate. The average person go to a dentist is not going to check the dentist Snapchat that often. Now, let me just say, there is a way certain dentist office could do very well with Snapchat. I'm not saying you shouldn't use it, but I'm saying it's niche specific. Okay? I use Snapchat a lot because I reach a lot of young people. I reach a lot of countries. My business is very global. Only about 55 to 60% is in the U.S., so 40% is in 92 other countries. So Snapchat is this, and my audience tends to be slightly younger. I have older, but I have a lot of young people who follow me. And so Snapchat is very appropriate. Also, my lifestyle is very niche. I do a lot of stuff. I travel. I have a lot of guests and celebrities, and I do martial arts and action and sports, and so it lends itself. If I was a dentist, you know, that's not really the niche for Snapchat. So you'll learn in the we're going to do videos on each lessons on each of these separately, but now you have the broad overview of how to think of this. This is most important. Before you try to memorize the specifics, just get the broad overview, because when you sit down with businesses and you can talk broadly like this, they're going to be very impressed, and they're going to be much more likely to sign a contract paying you $1, $2, $5, or $10,000 a month. Okay? So, homework. This one, I want you to work on a little bit more than you do normal. I want you to write below your summary. Remember, listening to me talk alone has about 10 to 20% retention. You now taking that and teach it back to yourself increases your retention up to like 80 to 90%. So take about 15 minutes now and summarize the channels as if you're teaching a new business customer what you can do for them. Okay? Thanks so much. I'll see you on the next lesson.